The episode begins not with Dunk, but with Egg. He is in the woods with the warhorse named Thunder, letting the horse run free. You can tell the boy's riding skills are incredible, and he speaks to the horse with remarkable tenderness. He says that horses are like people, they don't like being commanded, you have to win their hearts. He talks to himself, saying that Esser Duncan only has them now, and if he loses the tilt, he will lose them too. This mature, little adult vibe is actually deep foreshadowing for Egg's true identity. While Egg is training, he runs into a strange man, Esser Robin Riesling. This guy is nicknamed the craziest knight in the Seven Kingdoms, missing an eye and looking quite fearsome. Seeing such a young boy riding such a fine horse, Robin assumes it's stolen. Egg, being stubborn, retorts, "It's not stealing if you mean to put it back." Robin is amused by the kid's wit, and the two end up mocking each other's hair and eyes. When Egg announces he serves Esser Duncan the Tall, Robin hasn't heard of him, but a connection between them as knights is already formed. The scene shifts back to the camp, where Dunk is sitting and sewing patches. Even though Dunk is built like a mountain, he is meticulous, his sewing skills are actually better than Egg's. When Egg returns and tries to take over the chore, Dunk gives him a lecture. This segment feels very slice of life, with the two bickering as they work. Egg, being in puberty, mysteriously asks Dunk if it's weird that black hair is growing on a certain part of his body. Dunk, looking disgusted, replies, "It's weird that you're telling me about it. This daily routine between a common knight and his squire is quite relaxing to watch." However, a tense atmosphere soon arrives. Because Dunk hasn't received his official entry for the tournament yet, he is so anxious that he's been vomiting. He thinks it's his turn to take the field, but Egg tells him today's first round of challenges belongs to the highborn and famous houses. A hedge knight like him can only watch from the sidelines today. Hearing this, Dunk's heart sinks all that morning sickness, and he doesn't even have the right to compete today. With nothing better to do, Dunk takes Egg to the market. He wants to check on how the puppet girl, Tansel, is doing with his new shield. Tansel says it won't be finished until tonight and asks Dunk if he likes eating goose eggs. Dunk acts incredibly clumsy here, unable to even speak properly in front of the girl he likes. Later, they encounter a street performer singing a raunchy song called Three-Fingered Alice. About how a disabled girl pleases men, the lyrics are quite bold. The curious Egg starts a deep discussion with Dunk about whether this song is about honor. Dunk, overwhelmed by the questions, can only marvel at how much this kid knows. In the market, they also encounter a fortune teller. Dunk's fate sounds great. She says he will be richer than a Lannister. But when she turns to Egg, her face changes. She says, "You will be king and die in a hot fire. Worms shall feed upon your ashes, and everyone will be glad of your death." The atmosphere in this scene is chilling, leaving people with goosebumps and causing Egg's mood to drop instantly. Shortly after, Dunk runs into his old acquaintance, Raymond Fossaway. Raymond invites Dunk to his tent for apple cider. Over drinks, Raymond briefs Dunk on the current situation. He says Lord Ashford spent all his savings on this tournament and is desperate for money. A steward even approached Dunk, hinting that he should be an actor and intentionally lose to the Lord's son, Andro, so everyone could split the money. Dunk, being stubborn and honest, feels that a victory not earned by skill is meaningless and flatly refuses. Raymond also drops a bombshell. Prince Maekar's two sons Darren and Aegon are missing. Rumors say they might be dead, but Raymond suspects Darren is probably drunk somewhere. Mentioning the Targaryen family, Raymond is full of complaints, calling them incestuous aliens and bloodthirsty tyrants, specifically mentioning Prince Aerion Brightflame. Aerion is extremely cruel on the tilting ground. To win, he intentionally killed his opponent Esser Humphrey's horse. This despicable behavior shatters Dunk's worldview. He can't imagine a prince could be so bottomless. The climax happens at the end of the episode. While Dunk is chatting with Raymond, Egg suddenly rushes in, screaming in terror, "Esser Duncan, come quickly! Aerion is hurting her!" Dunk doesn't hesitate for a second and bolts outside. At the scene, he sees Aerion and his men torturing the puppet girl, Tansel. The reason is that the puppet show featured a dragon losing, which the megalomaniac Aerion views as treason. He not only smashed Tansel's puppets but is also trying to break her fingers. Dunk, the honest man, completely snaps. He rushes in and knocks Aerion back with a single punch, even loosening one of the prince's teeth. A madman like Aerion has never been treated this way and immediately orders his men to pin Dunk to the ground and beat him half to death. Just as Dunk's life is hanging by a thread, the little Squire Egg stands up. He rushes over to protect Dunk, shouting, "No, don't hurt him. If you touch him, you'll have to answer to my father." Then, the most shocking moment of the show happens. Egg reveals his identity in public. Arian stares at Egg, calling him an insolent little pup and asking what happened to his hair. Egg coldly replies, "I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you."